welcome back to my channel for day 21 of Create December. Today's prompt is throwback, and I thought I would do a little throwback to the books that I have read for this year. I track my reading on Goodreads, and it keeps a summary of the things I have read throughout the year, and at the end they send you a cute little email with a printout of what you've read in a summary. So I thought I would journal about that today. Here I'm just showing you a little ode to my nightly routine. Around 10:30 or 11 I pull out my journal and usually my camera because I film for you guys, and I pour myself a glass of Cabernet, and I usually have some cheese and Triscuits and journal my little heart out. So that would just be a little fun clip to put in there for you guys. So what I have done, there is no good way to print out Goodreads summary in the format that it's in. For some unknown reason, it doesn't print out the way it should. So what I did was I copied all the graphics into a Word document and got rid of all the little, website, click here, blah, blah, stuff like that. So I'm cutting out each individual piece and I am journaling. Now you won't recognize the journal I'm working in. I do have because all the books that I read are nonfiction, I exclusively read nonfiction. If you would like to follow me on Goodreads, the link is in the description box below. But because of that, I like to take notes on what I read. I didn't take anywhere near the amount of notes I wish I had this year. But, time and motivation. So anyway, that is the journal that I'm doing this spread in. So I'm just using some Tim Holtz labels here to write out totals, and I, like I said, cutting out all the graphics. I read 23 books this year. My total was 12, and I used to not listen to audiobooks. In fact, I counted them as not counting as reading. But I have become a little more lenient in my ways and now include audiobooks. So I actually read 11 print books and 12 audiobooks this year, which according to Goodreads totaled to 6,566 pages. So, yep. The shortest book I read was Everyday Matters by Danny Gregory, which is 128 pages, and mostly pictures, by the way. So if you don't like reading but you want some drawing inspiration, there's a good one for you. The average length I read was 285 pages. Most popular book that I read was The Devil in the White City, which was a really good book. The longest book I read was The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule, which is actually a reread. I had skim read it kind of for a report while I was in college, and I listened to the audiobook this summer, and I'm really glad that I revisited that. So yeah, just a fun little, page about the things I've read. And the totals that the site gives you. I really do like it. I think my reading challenge will be the same for next year, 12 books. Just because I feel like one a month is definitely doable, and I'd much rather go over my goal than be under my goal. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there. Still gluing things down. I do speed this up at one point so that you guys don't have to watch me glue things down for 5 hours. I do more interesting things in the layout. So yeah, I put these two Tim Holtz labels here, and I'm going to write 12 audio and 11 print on it. And then I used some arrow stickers to to spice up the page a little. I feel like half of my voiceovers have yawns in them, or more. Probably all of them. But then I took some tiny word stickers and added those as well. And then I cut out all 23. That's it. 23 pictures and put them in the book. I wanted to write next to each photo a little bit about the book and what I thought about it, next to my rating and stuff. I do have a rating stamp which I purchased from Studio L2E. It was a reading stamp set. I'll try to leave it linked below for you guys. I really do like it. So yeah, I just scattered the books. I kind of already knew which ones I would need more space for and which ones I would need less. So I kind of based 2 or 3 on the page depending on that. So this is, I'm sorry about the dog barking if you can hear that. So I just glued the pages there and stamped it out. Dun, dun, dun. At first I was using a glue stick, so I didn't, I guess, essentially waste my tape runner, but I have 0 patience for glue sticks, so I ditched that in about the first page, as you saw. And funny enough, there is one book that I don't remember reading. Like, I know I didn't read it in print. It was probably an audiobook if I did read it, but I don't remember listening to it at all, which is kind of scary. It's probably in the height of the housekeeping season, but yeah. So I'm gonna have to go back and revisit that, I think. If you were curious, the book was My Life Among Serial Killers. I vaguely remember it, but not really. Which is kind of scary. If I could have any superpower, it would be to remember everything I read, because even though I read 23 books and I can tell you what each general one was about and maybe 1 or 2 facts from it, I don't remember much of them at all, which makes me really sad. If I had taken notes, I would remember like a bajillion times more than I actually do, but yeah. So more notes next year. So off camera, I wrote the pieces that I want. I marked which ones were audiobooks, and now I'm taking a mermaid marker, not a mermaid marker, a paint over pen, sorry, by Jane Davenport. This is the color Mermaid. So kind of was right. And marking my ratings for each book. And then I take another down. Sorry. Take a Tombow marker in the 942, which is kind of like a flesh color, and did some separation lines there, kind of. And then the last book of the year that I read, I actually half read another book. I'm in the middle of it, but I don't think I'll finish it by the end of the year. My favorite book of the year was actually the last one, and it's called Surviving Survival, so I wanted to make the final page kind of stand out. I used a fabulous sticker and made it look a little fancy, and I added some word stickers that I felt went either with the book or went with the time that I was reading the book, like the blah blah blah. I put the Pretty Little Birdies Chirped by Journal to the Self, because that was the book that I started reading in the spring when I could finally sit outside and read again without freezing my butt off. And then I put Glittering in the Sun above Go Ask Alice, because that was the first beach book that I read of the year. So just fun little things that kind of resonated with me for each book or the time that I was reading it. This layout took so much longer than I thought it would. I was kind of over it, honestly, by the time I was done. I'm going to photocopy these pages and then put them in my regular journal. So you probably see that in my creative weeks, because I spent so much time on this layout and I really want to document that. I actually want to journal about journaling about my books. I know, super nerd moment, right? So yeah, this is the final thing. You're welcome to pause it and read it if you want. It's just my thoughts on each book. Probably won't make sense to you because you didn't read them. But if you are into nonfiction books or just want to follow me on Goodreads because it's fun, you can find the link in the description box below. I would love to hear how many books you read this year or your favorite books that you read in the comments. That would be lots of fun. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos, and I will catch you creative peeps in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.